Hey everybody, these are my studies 11 through 20. So I've got a cast for the first time in my life. It's a rite of passage to make it interesting. And so for me, couldn't figure out what to do, sat down with my paint and just was like, what am I doing with this? And I painted the lightning bolt to that's something I use to kind of represent, energy and pain and all sorts of things within my work. And so that was what I painted on here to kind of represent the wound I had given myself. And then I was like, well, I need to now represent positive. I need to do the healing. Like I can't just leave the wound as the visible thing. So I did the vines to represent the healing. And it felt very ritual like. And so I really liked this. Okay, so working for the first time with oil sticks on 9x12 canvas pad. I cannot wait to scale this up. Not really an option right now with my limitations, but this has grown on me, and I think I kind of like this one, and I would look forward to trying to work on this on a larger canvas. This was okay, and then so I was like, well, let's go for some more, and so I did an attempt at a self portrait. I don't like it. I don't. It's too fussy. I just kept making marks, and it just lost the gesturalness, and like I don't know. So, not being happy with the last one, I was like, I kind of want to go simpler. It just got too fussy. I got too much into I made marks I wish I could take back and that kind of stuff. So I was like, let's go for the paint pens, try and go simpler. And I still think I went too far with this. It's not what I was emotionally hoping for in that moment. It's okay. But definitely in the next set of studies, I'm going to go even simpler. And then on top of that, I might play with adding details with like a different medium, but I would like to go simpler. So I made a significant financial investment into a set of 120 Sennelier oil pastels. I've been working with Van Gogh up until this point. Sennelier is notoriously more sticky. And so I was taking it for a test drive, and I just took a photo of my eye and did this in an evening, and I'm happy with what I can achieve with them. I think I'll be just fine using this brand, and it was kind of fun to push them as far as I could go. So I had these stickers sitting around, kind of like trash. They were like leftover from this thing, or part of just the stuff that comes with a new date planner I had. And I was like, what can I play with these stickers with? How can I manipulate them? And I was like, well, I could do something kind of pixel art-y. And so I did this study of the Mona Lisa. I hand colored all of these stickers with color pencil, so it was very time consuming. And I would love to try it again with a more organic placement of things. This grid is not really my style, but I enjoyed it. It was an interesting experiment. If I had more stickers, I would play with it organically. I don't know that I want to buy them, but okay. So this is definitely something I'm going to continue. Expect this in the next set of exploratory studies. I did that my family just because that's kind of where my brain's at. It's the theme of my work at the moment, but I would really love to play with like more cutouts and more things, and this real light and real shadow is definitely something I want to play with, and using it as photography and going for it. So I'm going to continue playing with this idea. We'll see where it goes. So this one is again in my studies of trying to figure out like what other people do with oil pastels and how they've worked with them. Mediums came up as a big thing, paint thinners, mineral spirits, that kind of stuff, which I don't generally work with because I work with water based oils. um so I was messing around with like I bought a spray bottle and mineral spirits and blending stumps. They use blending stumps for detail work, and I sprayed this down. I thought it was one of those continuous sprays. It wasn't. And so it ended up being kind of patchy. I didn't like, I'm not happy with that. But, once it kind of got wet and then I took the blending stuff around, like there was some good stuff that happened within it. And so I learned a lot on this one. I'm not mad at it. So this one, I know it looks very simple, but it is kind of an important experiment. And that was one of the mediums that was a thing, was to just like wipe away and play around with moving it around a lot. So I gave layer of oil pastels, saturated it with mineral spirits, wiped it around, and wiped some areas away and that kind of stuff. And so this is just really a proof of concept of what it's like to work with this. And I used lint-free cotton cloths because I use a really textured pastel paper and I would damage things like cotton balls. So I learned. And then this last one is my favorite of these last experiments because I used just a blending stump. I colored like I would normally color, and then I normally blend with my fingers. But that blending stump was in kind of a revelation. And so I was like adding this like hatching texture as I blended, and I love it. And I can't wait to add that into my larger scale pieces and kind of carving away texture. Anyway, thank you.